Hello and welcome to the Gadget Show Web TV. Now, Sony Ericsson's K800 revolutionized the camera phone market. At last, you could take a picture with a phone that didn't look as though it had been taken with a phone. So, I was eagerly awaiting its successor, the new Sony Ericsson K850i with 5 megapixels. Right from the start, I knew this relationship was going to be dominated by buttons. It's not so much these small buttons here that make it quite difficult to dial a number or send a text. It's not even this slightly awkward square ring here that takes the place of Sony's troublesome joystick. No, the problem is these 3 touch buttons. It's all too easy to touch them inadvertently, and although they behave themselves most of the time, often they just don't work, or they seem to press twice when they press once. You can find all sorts of inadvertent effects happen. You can send a text when you didn't mean to, you can go into a web browser when you didn't want to, delete a photograph you didn't intend to. I don't know why Sony have fitted them actually. It's possibly just to give you more screen area for the screen. It might be that the iPhone had a touch element, so they felt their new phone had to have it as well. Not quite sure, but either way, they're bad news. So, what about the camera? Well, it is an improvement on the K800s. The pictures are much sharper for a start. Though one thing did disappoint me, whereas the K800 tended to give great colourful shots straight out of the box, on the 850 they can often look a bit drab to start with, and they need tweaking on your computer. You can even tweak it in the phone's own software. It's got a thing called Photo GJ in it where you can boost the colours. It goes from that to that quite easily, even in the phone. It does have lots of nice features as well. The flash is good, lots of good controls. I like this switch that enables you to go from stills to video to playback without having to go through a menu. I also like the way that when you go into the camera mode, these little blue buttons light up here, so you can access things like the self-timer or the flash settings without having to go through a menu. One useful tip, I think, when you're using the camera, particularly in flash mode, hold it by the edge. It's all too easy for your finger to get in the way of the flash, and you end up with black shots. Video performance, a considerable improvement on the absolute dismal standards of the K800, but still not quite up to the VGA standards of some of its rivals. But in spite of all its issues, I do think the K850 is a very good phone. It's got great battery life. In spite of the buttons, it's got a very logical interface. It's got a good radio, good music player, and this very handy hatch where you can access your SIM card and your memory card and battery very easily without taking the phone to bits. What it isn't, though, is a revolutionary improvement over the K800, and if you're already happy with your K800 or K810, I suggest you hang on to them and see what else is round the corner.